Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's quick Excel tutorial, I will show you how to compare two versions of a product details table using Vlookup function and even highlighting the missing values with the red background. Let's get started. So here is my original product table that I have, and then I have created a copy of this particular table. As you can see them here, the copy of this particular table has a missing value. The reason why that I'm saying this one has a missing value, as you can see them here, the row number is 3 and it has ended at row number 17. But my original product details table has data that are starting from the row number 3 all the way up to row number 22. I'm sure that you have noticed there are some data that are missing on this table comparing with this particular table by highlighting them with a red background using a VLOOKUP function. Let's get started. Let's say, for example, this is my original table. Now I want to make a copy of this particular table. For that, I'm going to just select the whole sheet, Control C. I want to create another sheet, and then I want to paste them here. I don't want this particular column. I will delete this. Let me also delete some of the data from this table that I copied so that we should be able to compare and to identify the missing data. Okay, even though we copied this particular table from the original table, we have managed to delete some of the information from this table that we copied from the original. Now we are going to compare with this other table that we have to see which data are missing in this particular table with the help of a VLOOKUP function in Excel. So the first thing that I'm going to do them here is to rename this sheet 4 into product details copy. This is completely optional. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is to give a name for this table. So for that, I'm going to select the entire table. I'm sure that you should be able to see A1. You can be able to see different cell values there. So I'm going to replace this cell value with the name for this entire page. The name of the page can be anything. So in this case, let's say, for example, I'm going to say product copy, hit enter. So every time when you want to refer to this particular sheet, we are going to use this name that says product copy so that we will have an access to this particular sheet that we have. So we are going back to the actual table. Here, this is my original table, which contains every information. So this one is the copy of the original table, which has some missing value. So what we are going to do, we are going to make use of the VLOOKUP function in Excel to identify the missing value. So for that, I'm going to say equal sign VLOOKUP. This particular VLOOKUP function would take 4 parameters. So the first value is a lookup value. In this case, we are going to use the lookup value as a product ID. The reason why that we are using the product ID as a lookup value is because it basically helps us to accurately match the data across two tables, even if other values like product names, category, and date added changes. So for that, first I'm going to select the product ID as my lookup value, comma. My second parameter has to be a table array. In this case, the table array that I'm going to use is the table that contains the copy of this original table. Remember, we have given a name for this particular sheet. What is the name? Product copy. So this second parameter will refers to the entire array table or a table array from the second sheet that we created, in this case, product details copy. Then the third one is the column index number. Since we are interested in the unique value, let's just give the column number as 1 because this is where my unique product IDs are there. So I'm going to say, comma 1. And then the final value can be either true or false. In this case, I'm going to go with the false is because I'm going to look for an exact match, not an approximate match. So I'm going to say false. Let's close this and hit enter. So here you are seeing N stroke A. Let's just drag all the way down to the table. I'm sure that for some of the cells you see N stroke A, then the other cells you see this employee ID number. What does that mean? So we are simply telling the user to say, when you see NA, these are the data that are missing in the other table that you created. But when you just look at this NA, I don't think so that people can even understand what is this NA means. Does it mean that this data is found in the other table or it is the missing data? So to make it clear to the people, what we can do, we have to describe what is this n stroke a means. So for that, we can make use of this function name called is NA. So I'm going to wrap the entire stuff with this function name called is NA. So this particular is NA is going to return either true or false. So when you see false, it simply means this particular data is found in the other table that you created. If this returns true, it simply means no, this particular data is missing in the other table that you created. That is what it means. Now let's go back to the end and then hit enter. Now you see true, which simply means this particular data is missing in the other table. So I'm going to drag all the way down. I said when you use this is NA, it's going to return either true or false. True simply means the data is missing. False simply means the data is found in the other table. Now even this one is hard for us to explain to the people whether the data is missing or not. So just to give the clear-cut information, we can make use of if statement. I'm going to use if. I'm going to cover this one with that if condition. So if simply means if the condition is true, it is going to return a value. If the condition is false, it's going to return another value. So let's say, for example, if this condition is true, what does that mean? The data is missing, isn't it? So comma, here I'm going to say, this is going to be displayed when the value is equals to true. When the value is equals to false, we are going to return, let's say data is found. And then we are going to close this one. So remember, initially when I use Vlookup, it returns the ID of these products. It returns n stroke a in case if that particular item is missing in the other table. To cover up that one, we used isNA function where it returns either true or false. True simply means the data is missing. False simply means the data is not missing. Then the next step is to include the if condition. When the condition is true, what are we going to do? When the condition is true, we are simply saying that yes, the data is missing. When the condition is false, what does that mean? Data is found, meaning whatever the information that you see them here in this table is also found in the other table. That's what it means. Let's hit enter. Let me just drag this one all the way down now. Now you should be able to know which data is missing and which data is found in the other table. Now the idea here is not to display them like this. Let's say for example, I just want to highlight them in the original table so that the user can easily able to identify which ones are found or which ones are missing. Isn't it so? So we are not interested in this particular column that we created. We actually want to highlight them in the actual table that we have. So for that, what we are going to do, now we are trying to select the whole sheet. Now after selecting the whole sheet, what you're going to do, you're going to this conditional formatting, and then you're going to select this option that says new row. Now from this pop-up box, you're going to select use a formula to determine which cells to format. Now here we are going to write the formula. What is the formula? We are simply going to say is NA. That's the formula that we have. So here we are going to look for the first one. We said it's an A3. We are going to say A3. The second, that's basically a lookup value. What is the second value? The second value is the table array. For the table array, we have given a name as product copy. That will be our second parameter. What is the third parameter? The column that we are looking for. We said we are going to consider the product ID as the column that we are looking for. So we are going to put the number as 1 because here product ID is column number 1, product name is column number 2, category is 3, date added is 4. We are interested in the product ID. As a result, we have to use comma 1, and then we are going to use false. We said false means we are looking for an exact match. After setting this condition, we can go to this option that says format. Now you will have this pop-up box. There is this first option that says number, font, border, fill. We want to fill that particular table with a different background color. Let's say for example, I want to fill the missing data with the red color. I'm going to select red and then click OK. Then click OK. You have entered too many arguments for this function. So let me click OK. Click OK. What did I miss? Yeah, what we missed them here is a Vlookup function. So here inside this one, make sure to include the Vlookup function and then click OK now. I'm sure that now you can able to see we are not just highlighting the rows. It seems like we are highlighting the entire table. But our intention is to just highlight the row, not the columns, especially when we want to find out the missing data. The reason why that all these things have been highlighted with the red background is because we are using the relative reference instead of using an absolute reference. So the best thing that you can do them here is by again select the entire table, go to the conditional formatting. This time instead of going to the new rule, go to the manage rules. So here go to this option that says edit rule. So this A3 here that you see them here, it is relative, meaning it is selecting the table with the rows and columns. But in this case, we are just interested in the rows. We don't want to select the column. So we are trying to make this cell A3 as an absolute, meaning we want these particular things to be fixed, not as relative. So for us to make this reference as absolute, include the dollar sign before this cell A3, and then now click OK, apply, click OK. Now you should be able to see only the rows are being highlighted with a red background. Again, even these other things has been highlighted, maybe because we selected the whole sheet. So instead of selecting the whole sheet, what you can do, you just select the table with the data like this. Now go back to the conditional row. Instead of going to the new row, let's go to the manage rules, and then let's say edit rule. Let's copy this now, click OK. Now what we can do, we copied the rule, let's delete. After deleting the rule, let's add the new rule, go to one. Now paste the formula there. In this case, we have just selected the table data so that to avoid having this red background for the whole sheet. Now click OK, and then apply, click OK. Now I'm sure that you have seen the color has disappeared. Now the thing is, we need to add that color. Go there, manage rules, edit rules. Now go to the format again, fill with the red color, click OK, click OK again, apply, OK. Now I'm sure that you can able to see we have a table that has been highlighted with this red color background for us to know which data are missing from this table to this table. Let's say, for example, since we have managed to highlight the original table with this red background, I don't think so that we need this particular information that we have. So what you can do, you can simply delete this particular column that you created to find out whether the data is missing or not. By you can select this, then right click, delete. That's it. So if you want to test, let's say for example, this is a copy. Let's say for example, I want to delete this one with an ID 548. I'm going to delete. Let's go back to this one. Now I'm sure that you can able to see this particular item now has the red background. Let's say for example, I want to add this item to this other table that I created. I'm going to copy this. Let's say for example, I'm going to include it here, which is 520. Let's go back to this one. Now I'm sure that you can able to see the background color has been removed. This is how you can use Vlookup function in Excel to compare the two tables and to identify the missing data from those two tables. I hope you have learned something from this tutorial. For more useful tutorial like this, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel. Thank you.